Hello, everyone. Tico Casamayor here at the Strive305 podcast.
We're back.
We're back, and we're very excited today. We have another superior guest, beyond super guest. But before we get to him, let's do our big thank yous to Mike Miller, Grant Miller, Community News.
Newspapers.
Without those guys, we wouldn't be here, George. And we also have to thank our Mayor Cava for the Strive305 initiative, Manny Sid for letting us do this, because they're the ones that give us. Yeah, Manny. We never mentioned his name, but Manny Sid's the one that lets us be here. Hey, our district commissioner. Do you know your district commissioner, George?
Of course I do.
Natalie Milian Orbis. Yes, she's mine too. I didn't even realize it.
I don't know if the question relates to who's my district commissioner at the chamber or
at the
where
chamber.
I
At the chamber. We're talking chamber.
Okay,
Forget
I
where
had to think about it for a minute.
where you work.
You almost got me.
Yeah, we have to shout out our district commissioner as part of the game, and she happens to be mine at AC Graphics. You know where my shop is, all the way in Hialeah. By one block, she's
big
mine.
District.
Yes, sir. I'm dying. We're going to get her on here too one of these days. Thank you, Wells Fargo. For the website. They're the ones that sponsor our website.
You have to thank the people with the money.
Yep.
So.
And also SiriusXM. I don't know if you're aware that this will be rebroadcast on SiriusXM, Slam 145, Pitbull station.
We're national, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Wait. There's a lot of things you said. SiriusXM, Pitbull.
Slam 145 is Pitbull station on SiriusXM. Our podcast gets rebroadcast there.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. We're going to make you even more famous in your...
So all those things really just mean one thing. You're national.
I got that.
Well, our guest officially, everybody, to let you know who it is Jorge Arrizurieta, president of the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. Just recently became the president, so we're going to talk to him about that. But you don't understand the history this young man has. The most important thing is he knows me since I was a high school kid. So that's what makes him really famous.
And he's still talking to you?
And he still talks to me. So
I'm still talking to him in front of a mic in a public setting.
It's documented.
Nationally. I'm going to let Irvans do all the talking because he's the smart one in the group. I'm just the hype man, but he's going to do all the hard-hitting questions. But you have to let everybody find out about his history, because forget the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. Everybody, he's famous now. He's all over in every news channel. He's on every Instagram. So forget the Coral Gables. Talk about what he's done before and wait till you hear all the cool stuff he's done. Everybody's going to love this, and then somehow make it work for our Strive305 listeners. So, George, our listeners are small business. This is a small business community.
Yep.
So we want to push here. We're pushing the Strive305 initiative. We have a website that's built just to help the small business community. And in your case, you are a resource for all these small business communities because the chamber provides a huge resource for the small businesses. A lot of people don't take advantage of their local chambers.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to have you. Coral Gables is one of the biggest, most influential chambers out there. Hence,
but they have a ton of small businesses as well, along with the big business.
Correct. So that's what I want everybody to get out of this, besides, meeting George and learning and everything he's about and where he comes from and how much he can help. Yeah. And if you use my name, you just tell him, Tico told me to come. He will help you in whatever your business is. A one-man show or a 200-man operation, correct?
You're not going to hold that. You want people to hold that against him?
I have proof. I'm sitting here, proof that he helps the small business. He did it for me.
He helps you?
Yes, he came.
That's awesome.
Back when the Super Bowl was here, you came to our place and he hosted a press conference from my print shop. I was standing behind him like this, frozen. I've never been on camera before. If you look at those videos, if you look them up, you'll die laughing because I'm like this, stiff, not even moving, and he's doing all the talking and mentioning me. And I was sweating. It was the best time ever. They were promoting small businesses. The Orange Bowl, the Super Bowl was, and he did that for me, and I'll never forget. It was my first time on camera. So now payback.
Before Tico came out of his shell. Now he hasn't stopped talking.
I don't shut up. Sorry, everybody. That's it. I'm done. I'm done. Irvans, take over.
No, I mean, you already kicked it off amazingly, but actually, give us the highlights. Since Tico's giving us the lowlights, give us the highlights of who are you?
Well, I can tell you before mid-February of this year, I would never have dreamt in a lifetime I'd be sitting here talking with you as the president and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, any chamber for that matter, nonetheless Coral Gables. And regretfully, it happened when a dear friend and a larger-in-life kind of personality who was not, let's just say was very well known to this building and very well known to this family and very well known to this community, but especially the Miller family because he was a dear friend of Grant and Michael's. And as we talked about earlier when I came in, and toured the place once again. Had lots of flashbacks of our good friend Mark Trowbridge, who ran this chamber for almost 20 years, and did a phenomenal job of making the chamber incredibly relevant and incredibly significant in this community. So before his passing in mid-February, I never would have thought I'd be even considering this. But make a long story quite short, his sudden, I guess sudden is not totally accurate because he was sick, but he actually had improved dramatically from his illness, and he was in remission and so forth. And he just sadly so passed away once we thought he was doing better. Yeah. And so that was sudden in that regard. I never would have thought of this. I was sitting with Mayor Vince Lago one day on a meeting unrelated, and he pretty much says to me, "You really ought to drop your name in the hat for the Gables Chamber job." And I go, "Why?" And I started, debriefing him, I guess I should say, on his views on that. And make a longer story shorter, 4 days later I came back to him and I said, "I'm in." He says, "You're in for what?" I go, "I'm in. I'm going to drop my name in the hat." And he starts like doing what a mayor should do, which is, "Well, you really got to work this thing. It's probably going to be very competitive." And 4 weeks later, he goes, "You got to stop working that thing. I'm getting driven crazy about, like, you're the guy." I go, "Well, you told me to work it." Anyway, make a longer story shorter. Unfortunately, because it took a while, but fortunately, because here I am, I was hired October 2nd. So the number of people I knocked on the door of, the number of people I called, the letters I requested for support grew exponentially, because the longer they take, the more I would actually work it. Just kind of a simple supply-demand reality of life. And again, the rest is history. I was humbled and honored to be selected. Lots of letters of recommendation, lots of phone calls, but I'm here, and it's been now 45 days. Stopped counting a couple of days ago, but somebody asked me at a meeting earlier today, so I had to do the math again. It was 45 days, and I'm excited, I'm passionate, I'm energetic about it. The place is a great place, because if you can't sell Coral Gables, you probably need to retire from life.
Yeah, right.
Because some would say it sells itself, but nothing sells itself organically. You got to really work it. You got to be proactive. You got to push it, and it's competitive like any other job or any other organization would be. Requires lots of effort, and we're doing it every day. And as I have said a few times as well since I've been hired, I'm really not here to be a caretaker. I'm here to be a change agent wherever necessary, because not everything needs to be changed or modified. But what I've been doing for the last 45 days, and I will do for the next 50 days, is look at it introspectively, listen a lot.
I saw that when I was reading the
listening tour. Yeah, because there's no way, no matter how involved or no matter what I've done in my life, I've never been a board member or a professional within the Chamber of Commerce. If I'm going to be able to hopefully do what I do well and add value, I've got to do it by really learning the place in short order. Yeah. And that short order that you normally get is about 100 days, which is 3 months. Right, where you get a chance to really assess it completely, and then you can have your views, and then you can have your opinions, and you can have your recommendations. To do it prematurely would be, not fair to your job or to the organization. And we're doing, some days I'm much more patient about listening than other days. Some days I want to act.
No, many more people will need to do that.
I've been acting. Actually, I would be lying if I wouldn't tell you I've been acting in some regards before the 100-day mark is over. But on serious matters, I'm going to give it its course as you need to do the right thing.
That's amazing to hear, because I think a lot of people just kind of step in and just dive in, don't take the time to listen, especially in this current environment, and especially with the level of experience that you've had. You've worked internationally, you've worked at banks, and you have senior executive roles in multiple places. But like now, stepping into this, listening to the small businesses and larger businesses, like what are you hearing, like from the businesses?
So I think it's important if I first tell you that you should know that the majority of the membership at the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce, the great majority, are small businesses. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's an important fact that you need to understand to get a sense for what our demographics are. Yeah. Some people would think otherwise, because they think
people hear Coral Gables and they only think FIFA, and that's all they hear.
Right. It's a very good point. So FIFA is probably our latest addition of that international significance. And FIFA's arrival there was in my opinion, was a great opportunity for the Gables Chamber to have a significant calling card, because if the city is good enough for their presence and their arrival, I think it's a good enough opportunity for us to use to try to get more FIFAs of the world to be a part of the chamber.
Of course.
So that falls in the common sense category, I think. Additionally to that, when I tell you that the majority of our membership are small businesses, that tells you that you have got to work on that reality as much as you do on the reality of Latin American divisions of big multinationals, as much as you do on Fortune 500 companies that happen to be located in our city, because the sheer volume of small business tells you that you have got to obviously focus on it and not forget. So what makes it different, if you will, than perhaps any other municipality? Well, what makes it different might be the location and what that means to that business for being here.
Right.
But I would say that if you analyze the reality of our membership, which is not just the one I gave you about small business, but I'd say the majority of our membership does not live in the city of Coral Gables.
Okay.
Or businesses are not in the city of Coral Gables. So what does that mean? That means that there must be a lot of people who want to be a part of the chamber to access
what's happening in Coral Gables area. Right.
So when you have all those realities mixed into one membership of 1,600 members, you are challenged with, okay, so...
You have 1,600 members, and wow.
So
how many people do you have at your chamber, Tico?
I'm not going to tell you.
I'm just
200
curious.
and something. Yes,
That's amazing.
I want to milk him for this information so that we could apply it to ours. Because another one of my beliefs is regarding chambers is all the chambers should be working together. We're not common enemies or we're not competitors.
Absolutely.
We have to work together. And having him as president there excites me now, because I've made a relationship with the Hialeah Chamber. I've made a relationship with the Doral Chamber. I've made a relationship with the Hispanic Chamber, which is huge in your Coral Gables area, because Lily has her chamber there.
I think Lily is spectacular.
She's a monster.
I wish we had more, 10 more Lilies in our community.
Right, and all of us working together, and they all help me all the time. They've spoken at our chamber. You've spoken at our chamber. We all help each other, and I love it. And that's why I wanted him here too, and that's why I'm learning from him, because I'm a peon compared to him. But our chamber, we have a small community, but Miami Lakes is growing and growing.
Yeah.
And I wish. I'm so glad you said what you said, because I was going to hopefully find the opportunity to talk about collaboration, because you were there that night at my
welcome ceremony,
my announcement, welcome ceremony, whatever you want to call it.
It was packed, by the way.
It was a big. I
didn't realize he had that many friends.
It's got nothing to do with me. It's got to do with the job I have. My list of friends are a lot smaller, and you know that because you're one of them. But my point is that, just because we are the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce doesn't mean anything other than the fact that we have a responsibility. And among those responsibilities I believe that we have is to not only talk about collaboration, but actually act upon collaboration, because I could not agree with you anymore. I believe, and I said it that night, that the pie is not unlimited. There's a limit to the size of the pie. But the other reality of the pie is that it's enough for all of us to eat from. And to approach it any other way is really a disservice to one's organization and a disservice, much more importantly, to the entire community.
Yeah.
So,
because as you mentioned, people who live in one area and they do business or vice versa in the other, so you can't cheat at such a.
And part of what maybe has given me the experience to appreciate this is, once upon a time, not too many years ago, or maybe it is a few years ago, I led something called Florida FTAA, which was the Florida Free Trade Area of the Americas, when free trade was the buzzword of the day rather than tariffs. And that's not intended to be a political statement. I'm not going to go there. It's just the reality of, times change and things change. So free trade was all about a point in time, which we did for a couple of decades, focused on sending a message to the world that business is not just local in nature, business is worldwide.
Yeah. And
that we have got to, as a business community worldwide, find ways to facilitate the reality of trading with each other, countries. So the initiative back then was to create opportunities whereby, lifting tariffs, ironically, lifting challenges to enter each other's markets was the way to go.
Yeah.
And I think, again, without getting into the debate, we can have that debate one day if you want to. I don't care. I'm not afraid of debating. It's not about any of that. It's just about trying to focus on the mission of the day today, which is talking about local business, specifically small business, but it all obviously has an application to the international reality. But when I did that work, I really was really challenged and put through a process where I was forced to realize that at the end of the day, all things local, are what matters. So before I forget, Tico, and you were one of those letters, but if you look through the stack of letters of recommendation I worked on and received from lots of good friends when I was hired for this job, just about every single local Chamber of Commerce CEO honored me with their support. And if you're looking for evidence of how this new president and CEO, if we hire him, will probably work, was probably taking a look at these letters, because not only because they gave me a letter do I feel compelled, but I feel compelled because I think the reality of today, especially when you are a mature, we're 100 years old. This chamber just became 100 this year, as did the city, as did the University of Miami, as did the Biltmore Hotel, and as did St. Teresa, the school and the parish. And this was obviously all George E. Merrick's doing, because when he founded this community, he thought it required all these components. God bless him, and God bless the work that those that joined him were able to do, because that's how this great community was formed. So I think there's a world of opportunity ahead of us, Tico, specifically on your passion and your mission of the day with regards to small business, because we have a responsibility to work together, but I think it's endless when you really focus and challenge each other to do that, because it really should not be that difficult of a thing to do if you think about it. It makes sense. But naturally, we're human beings. We like to compete. Everybody defines it differently. Some think that, he's going to purge my members, he's going to steal my members. And I'd be willing to say to you that with the exception of big corporate players who play at every space, the great majority of my members are not members of your chamber, and vice versa. And I feel the same way about the Latin Builders and the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. I feel the same way. Maybe Lily is the exception, because she is probably the one group that is the most local yet countywide.
Yep.
But again, to me, it's not competitive, it's collaborative. And you're going to see that we're going to find opportunities to work together because we're going to work on those opportunities. And what work together means, do joint events, whether it's an event in the sense of a social event, or whether it's a cause, whether it's identifying a challenge that we're going to go tackle jointly. And I think all those opportunities exist. And I think it's limitless, and I'm excited about that, because historically there's been less of that than more. I don't know why, but I'm not worried about the past as much as I'm worried and focused about the future. And I think that's among the responsibilities and the exciting things that I've
that's really great to hear.
And the power it gives you to as a group. When people buy in groups, what does it give them? More power, lower costs.
Leverage.
It's the same thing.
Visibility,
it's the same thing
all the support.
And the leverage and the power and the ability to help our members. Because you've lived in Hialeah, Miami Lakes, in that area. We go to dinner. We want to make a special dinner. Where do we go? Coral Gables. That's where we like to go. And then there's people, that want to travel somewhere else. Bring them to Miami Lakes, and so it's common. It's just so simple. But again, for some reason, it became
complicated before in the back.
For people, but that's what the Strive305. It's the same thing, bringing all the communities together. How easy has it been for us since we've been doing this to bring all these communities together? I was at the hub in Miami-Dade, in Miami downtown this weekend.
That was a good event this weekend.
I did ribbon cutting, because you know me, I love ribbon cuttings. And in Miami Lakes, I did one all the way. Where was it that we did that one?
All the way down in the Homestead. And the underlying element about everything that we're talking about right now is like relationships, right? And I think that's one of the key things that people don't think about as much. They just think about the competition, think about the business, but in the end, it is about people and it is about relationships. I'm curious from actually both of your perspectives, like as chambers, many times small businesses or individuals or people starting new businesses, like they think of chambers as something that's difficult to approach, or business is different nowadays, and things evolve. So I guess there's two questions in there. One, how do you create a space to let new businesses and people who approach the Gen Zers and other digital-focused type of businesses are more prevalent now than before? How do you make the chambers accessible to them? And then two, how do you help the chambers evolve and show that you're keeping up with all these different elements that are happening right now compared to like before, where everything was much more, the world was much smaller, but like now the world is so much bigger than everything you guys are talking about.
Yeah, in my case, fear is what scares the people from coming. It's like when you go to the gym for the first time. You walk in and you know that you feel there's a click there and you're not going to be accepted. You feel uncomfortable. Same thing. You go to a chamber. Oh, it's a click, and you're not going to be accepted. And it's farthest from the truth. What chambers want, what the members want, is more. They want new people. They want new people to talk to and not to be afraid to come and join them. And we got to let them know. He's got to that's why he's doing the listening tour, so that he can listen to what's out there. And what you're going to hear is like, oh, I didn't even know that the chamber existed, which is not the case. It's just that they're afraid. They're afraid to come because they feel they're not good enough. They're not big enough. They're scared of what maybe the fees would be. In our case, it's
or you have to have a certain level of income, or you have to be a business at a certain level, or who it's for. And
I don't believe so. Not in my case. In your case, there is no limits to who can join.
People believe that, or people think
right,
that.
and there's scaled pricing, I would imagine, in the Coral Gables too, for whatever the type of business is. The best thing that we can have, he has the volume, we're starting to get the volume, is that the takeaway. But the problem was, the cliques did exist. In my case, there was a separation between the chamber, between the town, between the Economic Development Committee and the B&I groups that were there. They were all separate, and they were all against each other. And when they brought me onto the chamber, and then I became a member of the B&I, my son's the president of the Economic Development Committee, Miami Lakes, and then the mayors are good friends now, and we do ribbon cuttings together. The first thing we all did is join it together. We don't do an event now that all of us are not included in. And that's what I say we got to do with the chambers. I can bring you 200 members to a lunch, right? I bring all my members, invite them to the Coral Gables lunch. Why not? Wouldn't they love to have all these Miami Lakes people there? That I guarantee we already go to Coral Gables, because we go and enjoy our dinners there, because that's where we all like to go. When we're going to go to a fancy place, Coral Gables, there's a bunch of restaurants there, and the same with the businesses. So those are the fears. To me, it's fear, which is what always stops people, is fear of joining a group, or of not being accepted, or a fear of networking. People have fear of networking. Something I had, believe it or not, in the past. Now catch me in a networking event and if I see somebody in the corner by themselves, I'm grabbing them and introducing them to every single person there, because I know their fear, and I had that fear. So I refuse to let them suffer like that anymore. And then when I went to his party, his event, it was like hundreds and hundreds of people there, some of which were like the mayor. Your mayor, I've seen him at every ribbon cutting. I love him because he does what we do in our ribbon cuttings in Miami Lakes.
He goes out to,
he lets the person that owns the place cut the ribbon. He hands over the scissors to him. And I had never met Vince, so I went up to him. Right before he went on stage with you, I went up to him and did you notice he actually shouted me out during his speech? He said, that young man that just told me about the cutting, that's why I do, So that fear is what people got to get out of. That's what I want all my small businesses out there listening. Remove fear. Fear is the only thing that's going to stop you. You have no fear, you can do whatever you want. Talk to anybody. Go up to George, who is one of the most intimidating people in the world if you don't know him, and get to know him. And he's like the nicest guy in the world. He's like a teddy bear. You want to hug him every time you see him. I'm not kidding. I was super intimidated when I was a kid.
But I would also add,
and his brother.
I would also add, don't avoid the fear. It's okay to be scared, but just know that you as chambers are open to that. And now I'm curious from your end too, George. Like, what do you?
Yeah, I got so much to react to that. I'm not sure where I'm going to begin from.
Sorry, George.
But, it's... So, by the way, it's important that you all... I'm not sure which camera I'm supposed to be looking at. This one.
You can talk to this one if you want to speak to.
I want to make sure that they see me. Tico was talking about this reality... I'm talking. Which one of the points you were trying to make? No, I know. I got the camera, but you're talking about the oh my lord,
the joining of the chambers, the fear of
the collaboration, the fear.
Yeah.
So it's important that first and foremost this listening tour that you talk about, you mentioned. It's not that I'm not talking to the outside world. It's not that I'm not talking to the average, let's say, stakeholder in the community, but the listening tour is really focused on my board of trustees, my executive committee. And we have a 40-member board of trustees, and we have.
Wow.
This is what
So
what happens when you've been around for 100 years,
yes,
right?
it cracks me up because we're so little.
And part of my goal here, which is why I used the term earlier about I'm not here to caretake, and I'm here to be a change agent wherever necessary, is because among the arguments I made to the search committee when they hired me was, you got to look at me as somebody who's really had every single one of the requirements or list that you've created in a job description that you'd like to have this person have. Well, I got them all, and this is why I believe I have them all. This is what I've done in my career. But don't even consider hiring me if you're thinking of somebody you just want to remain, keep the status quo, because that's not what I'm going to do. I wasn't born that way. I'm not going to be that way at this point in my career either. It's not about even being afraid or not afraid of change. It's just about, you want to maximize my add value here. And my add value is all these experiences we've had, all these different roles that we've played, and bringing them to the benefit of the Gables Chamber. So with that in mind, when you talk about a listening tour, I have to start with my own community, my own internal community. At the same time, I assure you, I've been talking to the rest of the community within Coral Gables and outside of Coral Gables, countywide and statewide and nationally, et cetera, et cetera. But I have to start with the Gables community. So that'll give me the internal knowledge as if I had been there like Mark was for 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. Right? It's not the same, but as much of that information. So I can hopefully have a cheat sheet of sorts to be able to make the move to the next step. But having said all that, people join chambers for different reasons.
Right.
And the biggest challenge we as chambers have, and will have every year increasingly so, if not every day, is the younger generations feeling like they need a chamber of commerce. So what does a chamber of commerce do? What is that all about? Why do we need them to do business when, we can just do it ourselves? Let's eliminate that layer because we're going to save money and it's going to be much more direct. Or let's just do it via social media. Right. Because social media allows us to connect a lot easier, a lot quicker, a lot more efficiently. Well, those are all valid points. And depending on the business that you're in, that may be the case in your mind. But if you think for a second, you're going to be able to do business effectively, successfully, and at a level that you could be at, should be at, without the human contact, you are sadly mistaken.
That's why you see so many of the online businesses. Many of them are now brick and mortar. Even Netflix now, they opened up a store. They have a physical space for, again, exactly those elements.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that there aren't a personality type or a group of people, or that don't need to talk to anybody else, don't want to meet anybody else, have as many friends as they're ever going to have, and they're so-called antisocial and happy. That's great. It's not one size fits all for everybody, and you have to approach whatever you do with that reality that in today's world with technology, which is obviously what's given us all this power and then some, it also has its pitfalls and it also has its negatives, and its negatives are causing you to believe that that's all you need. I believe that is wrong, and all I suggest you do is give it a try, swing by an event.
And you guys are open to everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah. Not only is that the reality of the world that we live in today, thank the good Lord, open to anybody, no matter what race, what color, what sexual preference, we're open. Obviously, on top of that, we're open from a residency perspective. You don't have to be a resident of Coral Gables. You don't have to be. Your business does not have to reside in Coral Gables. Your business doesn't have to.
I didn't know that.
Solely do business in Coral Gables. That's why I'm so dramatic in my response to your comment, because I'm shocked myself to learn that so many out there, and I'm talking about people that are involved in the community, professionals and sophisticated people have been around, just assumed that the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce or any other Chamber of Commerce is limited to the confinements of that city.
Of that city.
And
100%.
It's actually a fair reason to, you really analyze it, it's understandable why people would think that, because why name it Coral Gables? Why not name it, whatever else? But if you don't name it what you're going to focus on, then it seems to have less of a purpose. So you have to name it what it is, because yes, we focus what we do at Coral Gables, but not limited to. We might get involved in an issue that has impact on the business community, small, mid, and large, that happens to impact not just the city of Coral Gables. It impacts the community, the business community at large.
Yeah.
Florida.
But for the most part, the focus is the city of Coral Gables.
Yeah.
And again, because the focus of the organization is that, doesn't mean that there are requirements that you live there, or that your business be there, or that the source of your focus of your business or the target of your business be Coral Gables. But the best defining reality is what I said earlier to you guys, that so many of our members just want to be a part of it because they want to access
Right.
the Coral Gables marketplace.
Right.
And so it's an interesting reality. I'm glad we're having this conversation, because I don't think we can have enough, Tico, this conversation.
Yes, I get the phone calls all the time.
All day long.
Can I be a member of your chamber? If I'm not in Miami Lakes, that's the phone call you get the most. And it's, you said, and not only do the people want to access the Coral Gables, but the Coral Gables chamber members want access to all those people that are out there. And then their resources, because not everything is produced in Coral Gables, not everything is produced in Miami Lakes. So we want to know what else is out there. We want to know about that, which is why you accept all the members.
No, that does make sense.
Okay, you're not going to believe it, and I apologize, but we ran out of time a minute ago, and Anthony's already sending me text messages to end the show. So that happens, George, when we have great conversation. It goes and we don't even realize it. So before we end, I want to say something. Give me my camera. Coral Gables. Oops, sorry. Coral Gables, you are one of the luckiest cities, luckiest chambers to have this guy as your president. Okay, I say that from experience. So take advantage of him. Do not, like I said, don't be afraid. Go up to him, call him, ask him for help. He will do everything to support small business people like us. Medium-sized businesses and big businesses are a no-brainer. He'll probably hand that off to one of his people, because the big ones, those are easy. But the little ones are the ones that are tough. Go to him. You're blessed to have him. Take advantage of him before I steal him, because once I get bigger, I'm hiring him away from Coral Gables. I'm just saying.
But as you already mentioned, he's open to anybody. So anybody outside of Coral Gables is also welcome to it. So it's really interesting. One random last question for you. Where's your go-to spot for coffee when you're in Coral Gables?
My favorite, my sickness. Coffee.
When I'm in Coral Gables?
Yeah, when you're in when you're in Coral Gables and you're done with the chamber meeting and you're going to walk down the street.
Versailles on 8th Street, which is not too far from Coral Gables. And how about Colalita? I'm kidding.
You can't go wrong with Versailles. All the presidents go to Versailles. So that's a safe answer.
And other than a shout out to my dear friend Felipe Valls, who lives in Coral Gables, but is right outside the city limits. So I'm not trying to hurt any of our many good chamber members. Honestly, there's a few of them, and call me whatever you want to call me. I'm sure this is a generalization about some generation, but I, unlike my wife, who cannot stand Starbucks coffee, I'm a Starbucks.
You're a Starbucks guy?
Not because I drink coffee all the time, but because I love their.
Wait, now I need to know what drink you get. So you get the little berry water drinks, or?
Oh yeah, you're just about to jab me. I love a good chai latte, and I also like the passion tea lemonade.
Okay,
Cold
that is a good one.
But anyway, I wasn't ready for that question, so I gave you a completely candid answer. That doesn't mean that we don't have a bunch of other great coffee shops.
A bunch of great coffee spots
with great Colombian coffee. And I'm thinking of the one there on Geraldo, which is, I think it's Pasión, if I'm not mistaken.
Pasión de Cielo?
Pasión de Cielo, which is very good.
That's a good one, too.
And among a couple others.
Can I shout out Hialeah Boy, too? Do you have on
we also
on
have
University, you have a Vicky Bakery?
We have a Vicky Bakery.
That's right.
And it was today is Monday.
Now it's actually technically, now it's Cow.
No. Vicky Bakery continues. That's dad and the daughter and son have the cows.
We have in the Gables is Cow.
Is it? No. On University, I believe it's Vicky.
It is Vicky?
Yeah, that's a Vicky.
I think this is a Vicky.
And another shout out. Sorry, Anthony, I promise this is my last shout out to Pedro Cow. Today is his birthday, 60th birthday. He celebrated a Saturday, but it's actually today. I know that for a fact. Him and Fernando Ramos, which is the one by the Vicky Bakery by my work in Hialeah. So we're doing our podcast on the Vicky Bakery birthday.
Awesome.
Very
How
cool.
awesome is that?
Everybody go get a pastelito.
We got to go. George, thank you so much.
Thank you
I
for
know your
having me.
time is impossible. It's like the president. You can't get him for anything. So thank you for coming. I know you did it
It's
for Irvans,
appreciated.
but I appreciate that, I was here. And for Grant.
He's looking for. He's baiting me for a compliment.
Always.
I'm not going to take it.
I would not be here but for you. You know that. And thanks for having me.
Thank you, my friend. Love you. Thank you, Anthony. Get us out.